Okay, so here we have Claire.
Hello.
And this is our first of our post-training interviews. So let me just get how you're feeling right now after 2 weeks in Wudang.
Yeah, pretty good. Had a pretty amazing time. So yeah, feeling nice and relaxed.
Any pain?
No, I had some knee pain this morning when I woke up, but it seems to have gone away. So yeah, that was the first time both knees have been hurting. But yeah,
okay.
But they're okay now.
So tell me, we'll go backwards in a bit in terms of your journey, but tell me about the shift between training as part of your everyday life in Oxford to full-time training for 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's been really great. Totting up, it's been like 7-8 hours a day in total of training, which is pretty wild. I think the biggest change has been physically, just feeling like really different, feeling like I can do more of everything and put more into everything with Kung Fu. There's none of the shaking off of the day and then having to like transition into it. You just get up and you do it, and you're already in that space. And even when I get up in the mornings, or the last 2 weeks, my body just felt already looser in a way it doesn't at home. So it takes time for it to loosen up through the day at home normally.
Yeah, it's been a kind of cumulative kind of impact on us all, so that our body seems to be kind of, when we see Shifu, our Wudang master, who can just do anything, drop a hat, you can see how you might get that way.
Yeah.
Through it being a constant way of life, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so first of all, congratulations, you've become an instructor from our school, which I'm absolutely thrilled about.
Thank you.
Really good. But your journey is quite unique, and I think you're the first person I met who's done Kung Fu since earlier on in life. So tell me a bit about that. So when did Kung Fu start for you?
I started when I was I think I was 15, doing a type of Shaolin Kung Fu called Chui Lei Fut. And I did that for about 3 years, and I was very dedicated. I was training probably 4 nights a week, a few hours a night, got like pretty high level, and yeah, I was just so committed. But then I started uni, and things changed, and I sort of couldn't fit it into my life in the same way anymore. And then over the years, I've sort of wanted to get back into it, and I tried and failed for various reasons, and then there was lockdown, and then eventually came out of that and finally found you guys. So yeah, it's been a long journey back to it, but I got there in the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's hear about the attempts. So what had you tried in between that didn't work out for you?
So when I was living in the Netherlands, I did join some Kung Fu classes there, and they were pretty good. I can't even remember what style it was particularly, but I think it was like a type of Shaolin Kung Fu, and the Shifu was very nice, but the language barrier was a problem. Like, everyone spoke English, but then would like be talking in Dutch the whole time, and I couldn't really join in. And for me, like, part of it has always been the social aspect, and just like having a community and not just people I go and exercise with and then leave. Like, I like the banter, I like the support, and you can't really get that when you're not speaking the same language all the time. So that was quite hard. And then there was then I started trying karate when after lockdown, because I couldn't really find the Kung Fu that I wanted in Oxford. Yeah, couldn't find a Kung Fu that I wanted to do right away, because the Daoshu Club is quite hard to find online.
We're typically Taoists.
Yeah,
we're Xuanwu, we're the mysterious warriors.
You've got to work to find it, and I did. I went, I started chatting to someone who knew of you, and then only went again to another session so I could get your details off of her. So then I was like, okay, I'm gone now. I'm in for the Kung Fu.
Right. And what was karate like compared to Kung Fu?
Oh, it was just quite boring. very upright. I'm all in my legs. I'm flexible, and I'm like strong in my legs. And just relying on the upper body that much was like quite a weird change. I just prefer to be like low and like long, and the same as you. Just really enjoy that feeling a lot, and the flow is really nice. So yeah.
And we've been made to go lower and wider in the last 2 weeks than ever before, right?
Yeah, which is fine. Except some of the stances were challenging. Even like I was surprised by how challenging I found them. Just the way
Yeah.
my knees had to bend were it was new. Yeah.
So in the hinterland years between Choily Foot and regular training of us, I'm assuming you've always been physically active, right? You've always been trained at gym and other things?
Yeah, I went to the gym, but I wasn't really like working out in any particularly committed or like focused way. And then I got dogs, so then I was like walking loads, and that became my main form of exercise for a few years. And I sort of thought that was enough, and then at some point I don't know what changed exactly, but at some point I just started getting that hankering for martial arts again, and just wanted to be able to use my body properly and just like not. Yeah, I mean, I still love walking, but going to the gym isn't satisfying in the way that doing kung fu is. And like I didn't want to like run marathons like my sister or any of that stuff like that. It didn't feel like it would give me any sense of like achievement. But I needed something that was like that long term.
Right.
Like you're in it, and it's like it's a kind of lifestyle in a way, and not just like I want to get my personal best, or I want to hit this milestone or something like that.
Do you think kung fu fitness is different to gym fitness or running fitness or like sports fitness or something like that? What do you think?
I think it depends on who's running the classes. And so with you, yes, very much so. It's not a fitness class. You're not coming to this class to get fit. Like that's not the goal. I mean, you do, and I have.
I mean, like, in the impact on your body, is it a different demand on your body, do you think, kung fu training?
Yeah, and you really notice it. Like even though I now work really hard when I go to the gym, just the last 2 weeks, like my legs have just become so insanely strong. Like even though I was saying I had some knee pain earlier, I had a bit of a knee injury right before we got on the plane. I was really panicked about that, and then I actually think all the training strengthened it, and it just made the pain go away, because it's just everything got like so much stronger around it. My stability's improved like insanely. Like I can't believe how easily I can go up on my right leg now compared to before and not wobble. More often than not, I'm not wobbling now.
We've had to balance every day multiple times, haven't we?
Yeah. So you just you're working things in I don't know, there's something about trying to target areas almost that doesn't always, like the way you do it at the gym, that doesn't always work. Whereas if you're just doing it, it just is a byproduct of like your overall movements. It's so much more effective, and that's what I think it's sort of done these past 2 weeks for me.
Amazing. Okay, so you found us about 2 years ago, right? It was September when you joined us, and tell me about training of us to the point where you wanted to come to China. I know it was quite a big decision for you regards to air travel and things like that, right? So how did that evolve for you to the point where you felt like you really needed to be here in China for 2 weeks?
I mean, I think the first year I was training with you, I was like in, but I wasn't as all in. It took me a while to start doing the Tai Chi and committing to that as well. And then I think after about a year, after I'd had a month off in Australia and then came back, like something kind of changed, and I suddenly was like, oh yeah, actually I really I want this to be like a bigger part of my life. And talk of China had already happened by then, and I wasn't really taking it that seriously. I was thinking, I'll train as though I'm going, but it's not, like I probably won't. And I think it sort of took on a life of its own. Like once it started getting talked about more, and then more people wanted to go, and then it just like snowballed into this whole thing, and it's been such a dominant thing for all our lives this past 10 months or whatever. And it just was so motivating, even with the idea like, oh, something could go wrong and maybe we couldn't go. Like just having this idea of China somehow, I think, pushed everybody. It definitely pushed me a lot. Like I really committed to my training, and every kind of fitness stuff that I was doing outside of Kung Fu was in the service of the Kung Fu and to improve it. So I think there's definitely the second year I've been training with you, I've become really, really dedicated to it. And I think it's also been partly like you trusting me to start helping to teach people some stuff, as given me further motivation. I love teaching people, and I just want to do that really well. So, and now you've helped me become like an instructor, and that's awesome.
It's an
so
absolute pleasure.
Yeah. So and it's just been, just being able to see people make progress with their forms and stuff is just awesome. So that's, and then I have to be really good at them in order to teach them properly.
It's a responsibility, right?
And it's what I take on happily, but it is, it's very motivating on its own.
What do you think, from seeing where our lineage has come from and seeing it in its context, what feels like we're passing on? What have you connected with? What you resonated with about the culture of Wudang? And when it comes to teaching a child or an adult in Oxford future, what do you think it is, the essence that we're passing on?
I think it's, for me, there's like something about maybe like resilience and just it's not, like I said, not just fitness obviously, and it's just there is definitely that internal aspect, and it's finding that sort of space within yourself for it, where you're not just like, I just want to achieve a goal. It's something much more than that, and it's something much more like a lifestyle. And then going to Wudang and seeing, obviously, it being a full lifestyle for a monk, that's okay. We can't live like that, but I think just living, it's almost like you're living in the Kung Fu and the Tai Chi in a way that you don't necessarily with just like something that's just a sport. And I feel that's really important, because I think that's how you cultivate a community like you have, where you've brought people in who are they're there looking for like something a bit deeper than just getting fit, and that's why this has been such a wonderful experience, because people have all come to it with that wish for something deeper than that, and it's just and it's been amazing. So I feel that's what we are probably all taking away. It's definitely what I'm taking away, and I feel that's important, and like you've done such a good job of passing that on to us already, and not letting it be just something people like dip in and out of. It's like, well, come and like be committed and like invest something in this, and invest in this community that we have, and just really be part of it. And I think that's the reason that we all love it so much. So
Amazing.
it is so important. It's not just like a social thing, it's just like a supportive, like lovely atmosphere that helps people to I feel like build more resilience like internally as well, because it's hard and it's challenging and it's very hard to learn forms and it's hard to be good at them, but you see everyone striving from all different kind of demographics and stuff at different ages, different skills and abilities, and just everyone's striving the same way, and it's just amazing. So
amazing. Okay, and so finally, how does your expectations of the trip versus the reality, how do those two mesh together? Anything that surprised you? Anything that was what comes to mind?
So I will say that I didn't even really know what to expect. Like, I sort of expected to train hard, but I didn't really know anything beyond that. I think obviously there were some quite surprising things, like being part of that massive demonstration at the temple with loads of Chinese people and performing a sword form for them. Then on that same day, tea with the other Shifu and performing forms for him and his school. So just like lots of unexpected stuff, like lots of things being kind of spontaneous. And I think with Master Bing, I also didn't really know what he was like, because I hadn't done any of the online stuff before, and he's just very, a wonderful teacher, but also very playful. That was like quite unexpected. We had a lot of worries and unknowns before we came, like about food and how we're going to do this and how we're going to do that.
Well, and as a vegan, go to China, right?
And it just turned out to be so much easier. Like, and obviously that was down to Ming and like her amazing cooking, and but that was so important to me, actually, like feeling really nourished the whole time, because I would have struggled to reach the peaks that I did if I hadn't been like getting fed so well, and getting like everything that I needed as a vegan. So that was just really great that I didn't have to like worry about that the whole time. And I think it kept me healthy in a situation that could be very draining and you could easily get sick. You know, you're traveling, you're in new places, all that sort of stuff. And I did get a cold, but it wasn't bad. And yeah, so I think just a lot of things were easier in some ways than expected, and it was just wilder. I was expecting like lots of totally bonkers stuff that
lots of shenanigans,
definitely. And it was just very exciting, and every day was just like quite exciting. So yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you, Claire. It's amazing.